Hi guys, I'm Nora Hale, 33, a set designer's assistant freelancing around Seabrook, Massachusetts. I spend my days sketching rooms that don't exist yet, and my nights measuring real ones with the stainless tape measure on my keychain. A little weight that reminds me I can size my own life. I'm holding that tape when my world misaligns. I step into our bedroom at Seabrook Ridge, and there's my husband, Adam, kissing his assistant, Tessa Bloom, against the foot of our bed. The duvet is creased like a confession. Adam breaks away with the same grin he uses on clients. "It's not what it looks like," he says, as if charm can sand down a jagged edge. I don't raise my voice. I measure the scene. Lipstick print on his collar, her conference lanyard peeking from her purse, our door cam's tiny red light blinking. At Halcyon Dynamics, where Adam manages Tessa, supervisor-subordinate relationships violate policy. I know because I proofread the handbook last year for his team holiday party. Red pen in hand while he told me I was overthinking. I wasn't overthinking. I was learning the rules. "Adam," I say, palm on the doorframe to keep steady, "move." He steps back, offended by my composure. Tessa's eyes dart to the hallway. "Nora, please," she starts. "Don't," I answer. "You both know what this looks like." He reaches for the old playbook. "We can talk." "We will," I say, but not right now. I set the tape on the dresser, its metal edge clicking shut. That sound is a gavel in a small courtroom. Early hooks begin to line up like nails in a row. My phone holds months of odd timestamps, late-night Slack pings, a receipt from a boutique near his office 2 hours before an overtime text. In the corner, his gym bag bulges with a blouse tag I recognize from a set I dressed last week. None of it is an accident. It's a pattern. Patterns leave prints. I walk out. No shouting, no breaking lamps, no scene for the neighbors. I pass the gallery wall he insisted we hang, smiles from years that suddenly feel staged. In the kitchen, I steady myself with cold water, the glass sweating in my hand. My reflection looks like a woman who has rehearsed this without knowing she was rehearsing. Background. For those of you watching, Adam has always been fluent in almost true, lost receipts, harmless lunches, a calendar invite labeled vendor run that somehow covered 2 hours in a hotel lobby. I kept forgiving because forgiveness felt cheaper than starting over. Now I realize I've been comping a bill no one else intends to pay. I pocket the tape measure, pick up my bag, and let the door close behind me. On the patio, the ocean smell carries up from the marsh. It smells like metal and salt, like something that stings, but also sterilizes. I don't text anyone yet. I sit in the car and breathe until the shake leaves my hands, then open the Notes app and title a page Inventory. Not of furniture, of facts. Because here is the truth. I design spaces for a living, and I can design an exit. There are policies, timestamps, a boss named Charles Langford, and an HR team paid to read what people pretend not to see. There is also me, and I am done pretending. Do you call this loyalty or betrayal? Comment your verdict. The call connects on the second ring. Charles Langford. His voice brisk, a low office hum in the background. I grip the wheel tighter, the tape measure pressing into my palm. "Charles, it's Nora Hale," I say evenly. "I need to talk to you about Adam." There's a pause, long enough to register surprise. "Nora? Everything all right?" "No," I answer. "It's about Adam and Tessa Bloom. I have evidence of them together, outside professional boundaries. Last night, in our home." My voice doesn't waver. I've rehearsed this line in my head since the bedroom doorframe. Another silence, heavier. "That's a serious accusation," Charles replies carefully. "I know. I have photos, door cam footage, receipts, and message logs. You'll get a complete file, timestamps, metadata, everything I unlock my phone, already pulling attachments into an email draft labeled Halcyon HR Confidential. On the line, Charles exhales. Send it directly to me. Then to HR. Nothing moves without documentation. I understand. My thumb hovers over send. The files are raw. 11:42 p.m. Door cam still of Tessa's badge swinging. 11:47 p.m. Blurred kiss across our bed. 12:06 a.m. Slack notification pinging from Adam's laptop on the nightstand. You're certain? Charles presses. I wouldn't be calling otherwise. My voice sharpens. This isn't a rumor. It's a record. For a moment, I imagine Adam smirking his way through a boardroom, insisting rules are flexible when you're charming enough. That smile crumbles when a rule is written in policy. And policy has teeth. Send it now, Charles says. I'll escalate immediately. Click. The line goes dead. I hit send before my courage can fray. I sit back, pulse hammering. The email leaves my outbox at 12:24 p.m. I screenshot the timestamp, file hash, subject line, legal crumbs for later. The phone buzzes within seconds. Delivery confirmed. Another ping. HR acknowledgement. Case number 4172. Outside my windshield, the tide rolls in, salt foam slapping the seawall. Each wave sounds like punctuation. Hours stretch. Adam texts, "We need to talk." Another, "Please, Nora, don't do anything drastic." Then a call. I don't answer. My silence is the loudest sentence I've ever written. By late afternoon, I'm back inside Seabrook Ridge. Adam's voice carries down the hall, muffled apologies through a locked door. I don't respond. His words have the weight of paper receipts, thin, terrible, easily misplaced. At the kitchen table, I line up documents. Marriage certificate, joint bank statements, mortgage ledger. My tape measure lies across them like a ruler marking off one life from another. I know separation isn't simple, but neither is silence. When the sun dips behind the marsh, I pour tea and open a blank page. Plan, HR evidence sent, lawyer consult next, inventory joint assets, secure my own place. Background detail. For years, Adam said my insistence on tracking expenses made me paranoid. Now the paranoia is proof. Adam's footsteps shadow me through the house, his voice muffled by the locked door I put between us. Nora, please. Just talk to me. His words slide under the threshold like drafts in winter, thin and insistent. I fold my arms tighter and let silence answer. My phone buzzes again. 7 missed calls. Each voicemail promises remorse, but I don't press play. I've heard the script too many times. Every, "It was nothing," every, "You're imagining." This time, the record skips. Instead, I inventory. Jewelry box, 2 inherited pieces mine. Safe drawer, passport, social security cards. Desk folder, Adam's bonus statements, all neatly filed, each one a reminder of the life he flaunted. I take photographs, label them by date, slide them into a cloud folder marked exit, private. When I finally sit on the couch, exhaustion heavy as wet wool, another vibration breaks the quiet. Not Adam this time. A new name lights the screen. Tessa Bloom. One-line message. Can we meet? I stare, thumb hovering. Meeting the woman I just reported feels reckless, but some part of me aches to see her flinch, to hear her stumble through justifications. I don't answer. Not yet. By evening, I'm at the Blue Heron Inn, a temporary refuge above the harbor. I haul a suitcase up creaking stairs, heart thudding at each step. The owner, Mrs. Keating, hands me the brass key. Short stay? She asks kindly. For now, I manage. Inside the small room, I spread essentials on the desk. Laptop, phone charger, tape measure. That little weight sits steady in my palm before I place it down. I whisper to myself, "You're not measuring his excuses anymore." Adam's texts keep stacking, each one more frantic. Nora, please, just hear me out. Then, we can fix this. His confidence cracks into desperation, but my resolve holds. I lock the phone face down. Late night, I scroll through photos of the marsh taken months earlier. Calm horizons, gulls wheeling. Back then I thought they were scenery. Now they look like escape routes. My last act before sleep. A calendar reminder. Call Ortiz and Kellerman, 9 a.m. Maeve Ortiz doesn't know me yet, but she will. I'll need someone who sees paperwork as shield and sword. The text from Tessa doesn't vanish. It waits on my lock screen, quiet but pulsing. By morning, curiosity edges past caution. I reply with a single line. Harborview Cafe, 2 p.m. When I arrive, she's already there. Tessa sits in a corner booth, hands clenched around a coffee cup gone cold. Her lipstick is lighter than last night, her shoulders hunched like she's trying to fold herself smaller. She rises quickly when she sees me. Nora, Sit, I interrupt, sliding into the opposite seat. My stainless tape measure rests on the table, deliberate. A symbol, not a weapon, but it makes her flinch all the same. Her eyes flick to it, then back to me. I didn't mean. You meant enough, I cut in. My voice stays level. I sent the evidence. HR has it now. Charles Langford has it. There's no pretending anymore. She swallows hard, mascara smudged at the corners. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, Adam said. I laugh once sharp. Adam always says he's fluent in it, but rules don't bend because he smiles. Her fingers drum nervously against the ceramic. They'll fire me. That's not my choice, I answer. You walked through my front door. You stepped over a line you knew existed. Consequences don't ask for permission. For a long moment, we sit in silence, the cafe hum carrying around us, clatter of plates, hiss of espresso, laughter from a table of students. Everyday life, as if betrayal isn't dissected in plain view. Finally, she whispers, I'm sorry. I meet her eyes. Sorry isn't retroactive. It doesn't erase the footage. It doesn't unwrite the text. I push my phone across the table, screen lit with the email thread. Attachments, case number, receipt confirmations. This is already bigger than you and me. She looks down, tears sliding unchecked. For a second, I see someone young, misled, scared. Then I remember the conference lanyard dangling in my bedroom, and the sympathy hardens. I stand, pocket the tape, leave my untouched coffee. As I pass the counter, I hear her voice, soft, broken. Nora, what happens now? I don't turn back. Now? I say over my shoulder. Now the system measures you, the way it measured me. By midweek, the emails arrive stacked like bricks. Halcyon HR confirms an internal review, subject line stamped, employee conduct, confidential. Adam is listed as suspended pending investigation. Tessa, too. Reading the notice feels less like victory and more like ballast. I finally see the weight shift onto their side. That night, I hear pounding on the front door at Seabrook Ridge. Adam's voice cuts through the wood. Nora, we need to talk. Each syllable rattles the frame. I stay in the hallway with my phone recording. Screen bright with timestamp 9:47 p.m. Nora, open this door. Don't make it worse. His tone slides from pleading to sharp, as if volume rewrites facts. I keep the deadbolt firm. The audio saves itself to the cloud automatically. File name long as a sentence. Legal crumbs. Maeve Ortiz would call them. I email the clip to myself. CC Ortiz and Kellerman LLP. 10 minutes later, Maeve replies, We'll schedule consult tomorrow. Document everything. Do not engage directly. Her words calm me more than Adam's noise ever could. The following morning, I meet Maeve in her office downtown. The walls are lined with thick binders, spines labeled with case numbers. She adjusts her glasses, listens without interruption as I outline the last week. When I finish, she folds her hands. "You've done most of the hard work already," she says. "Evidence logged, chain preserved, timeline consistent. Next step is temporary separation orders, property inventory, and asset freeze." I exhale, shaky but relieved. "So I'm not overreacting." Maeve shakes her head. "You're building a case." There's a difference. That night, I sleep at the Blue Heron Inn again. My suitcase stands half open by the bed, clothes folded in rush layers. I stare at the tape measure on the nightstand, its silver casing reflecting the glow of the harbor lights. It steadies me. Back at Seabrook Ridge the next day, I watch through the peephole as Adam slams his palm against the door again. His voice cracks. "You can't shut me out, Nora." But I already have, and this time the lock holds. The decision comes faster than I expect. By Friday morning, Halcyon Dynamics issues a formal notice. Adam Hale, terminated for cause. HR jargon fills the page. Policy violation, breach of supervisory trust, documented evidence. But one sentence sears itself into memory. Effective immediately. I print 2 copies. One stays in my file. The other goes into a brown envelope that feels heavier than its weight. That evening, Adam storms back to Seabrook Ridge, shoulders tight, jaw set. He bangs once, twice, then forces his voice steady. "Nora, let me in. We need to fix this." I open the door only far enough to stand in the gap, envelope visible in my hand. Behind me, the living room is stripped, half the bookshelves bare, joint photos packed. The air smells faintly of fresh paint, as if the house itself is trying to reset. He pushes forward, but I hold my ground. "You don't get to push past me anymore." His eyes narrow. "What's that?" I extend the envelope between us. "Your termination. Your belongings are boxed. Your key doesn't work here now. You're done, Adam." He laughs brittle. "You think you can erase me? After everything I built?" "You built it on lies," I reply, voice flat. "And lies don't hold structure." Neighbors pause on their porches, watching. The spectacle strips his grin down to bare anger. He lunges a step, hand outstretched, but I stay still. The tape measure in my pocket presses against my thigh like a reminder. Stay measured. Behind me, the speakerphone glows. I already dialed the non-emergency line when I saw his car pull up. A dispatcher's voice carries faintly. "Do you need units sent, ma'am?" Adam's jaw works, realization dawning. His bravado falters as he notices the audience. The neighbors, the phone line, the envelope dangling like a verdict. "You can't do this," he mutters, voice breaking. "I already did," I say quietly. "And now you leave." He looks around, sees the watching eyes, the phone recording, the lock he can't break. His chest heaves once, twice. Then, with a curse too low for anyone but me to hear, he backs away. Tires screech as his car peels from the curb. I shut the door, hands trembling only after the bolt slides home. For the first time, silence feels like possession, not absence. The next morning, I don't face him alone. Leah arrives in a gray pickup, her hair tied back, determination bright as steel. Together, we box Adam's remaining things: suits, golf clubs, old textbooks he never opened again. Each box is labeled, photographed, signed. A chain of custody, Maeve calls it. Paperwork that makes even absence official. By noon, we're driving to Eli's duplex across town. Adam's younger brother, the only family willing to take his calls. Leah and I carry the boxes to the porch, stack them neatly, and snap a final photo with the timestamp visible. Evidence of delivery, evidence of closure. My phone buzzes as we drive away. Unknown number. I almost ignore it, but habit wins. Adam's voice filters through, thin and frayed. "Nora, please. Just hear me. I made a mistake. I don't want to lose you." The words are almost gentle, but I hear the rot beneath. I picture him in that bare duplex, staring at boxes that once filled our shared life. For a heartbeat, part of me wants to answer the way I used to, soothing, forgiving. Instead, I hold the phone at arm's length and let silence press back. Finally, I say, "This isn't about losing me. You lost yourself a long time ago." Then I end the call. That night, I sit with Maeve in her office again. She slides a folder across the desk. Draft separation agreement, asset freeze order, petition for temporary support. Each document is stamped with bold black case numbers. "All we need is your signature," she says. My hand shakes once before I grip the pen tighter. Ink flows steady, letters precise. Adam taught me to doubt my own steadiness. Now each stroke proves him wrong. Later at the Blue Heron Inn, I line up my tape measure beside the signed pages. Steel and paper side by side. Two tools that define boundaries. Leah pours us tea, her laughter soft, a reminder that not everything has fractured. Out the window, the harbor lights flicker against the water. I whisper, "It's not revenge. It's standard." Saying it aloud feels like setting a cornerstone. This isn't about punishing him anymore. It's about building something level, something that finally measures true. The quiet after Adam's departure is almost too loud. For nights I had braced against shouts at the door, calls at midnight, the threat of confrontation. Now there's only stillness in the Blue Heron Inn, and it feels like standing in an empty stage set after the show. I wake early, make tea in the tiny kettle, and sit by the window overlooking the harbor. Gulls wheel above fishing boats, their cries sharp against the dawn. For the first time in weeks, I let myself breathe without waiting for the next blow. The tape measure lies on the sill, reflecting a stripe of sun. By afternoon, Leah visits again. She drops her bag on the chair, surveys me with that mix of concern and loyalty only an old friend can carry. "You look like you haven't slept," she says. "I did," I answer softly. But it felt empty. She squeezes my hand. "That's the crash. It always comes after the storm. We talk for hours, about everything except Adam. Childhood memories, books we used to trade, the ridiculous neon dresses we wore to prom. For a while, the laughter feels like proof I haven't been erased. Still, the hollow creeps back when night falls. I book an intake call with a therapist, my cursor hesitating before hitting confirm. Therapy feels like admitting fragility, but maybe fragility is the first form of strength. Days begin to stretch into shape. I visit a small workshop for rent on the edge of Seabrook, a space that smells of sawdust and possibility. The landlord shows me around. My hands twitch to measure the walls, already imagining sets built from scratch. I tell him I'll take it. That evening, I set the tape measure on the new desk. It gleams under the bare bulb like a lighthouse light, small but insistent. A letter from Maeve arrives the next morning. Separation papers filed, preliminary hearing scheduled. Her note in the margin, "Stay steady. You're winning by standing tall." I fold it carefully, slip it into my journal, and realize this chapter isn't just about survival. It's about redesign. The first tangible shift comes with keys, new ones that don't carry Adam's fingerprints. I sign a lease on a modest apartment near Seabrook's shoreline, the ink still damp when the landlord slides the agreement across. $7,600 for first and last month's rent. My hand trembles only once before I steady the pen. Moving day is a blur of boxes and receipts. The locksmith hands me a slip for $1,900. Locks changed, storage unit secured. "Clean slate," he says. I nod, pocket the paper, and add it to Maeve's growing file. Every dollar logged, every step measured. The apartment is bare at first, echoes chasing me through white walls. But with each hour, I stitch life into the emptiness. Books stacked, a kettle whistling, curtains pinned in place. The tape measure lies on the counter, its numbers stretched across fresh wood. Routine follows. Morning runs along the shoreline, sneakers slapping against damp boards. Midday hours in the rented workshop, sawdust clinging to my clothes. Evenings volunteering at the community stage downtown, painting flats with teenagers who chatter about anything but betrayal. Their laughter softens the edges of my solitude. I delete Adam's number from my phone, block his emails, his shadow profiles. Tessa, too. No more alerts dragging me backward. My screen feels lighter without their names glowing. Weeks later, I sit on the balcony of the new place, the harbor wind curling my hair. The city hums below, distant sirens, a saxophone from a street busker. I sip tea and realize the ache in my chest has shifted. It's not gone, but it no longer owns me. One afternoon, as I leave the workshop, I notice a figure waiting near the gates of Halcyon's old downtown office. Adam. His shoulders are slouched, suit wrinkled, eyes tracking me with something between regret and blame. He doesn't move closer, doesn't shout. He just waits, as if expecting me to hand him a reprieve. I keep walking. My tape measure presses steady in my pocket, metal cool against my palm. For the first time, I don't flinch. He corners me outside the Halcyon gates on a gray Tuesday, the wind carrying the brine of low tide. Adam looks thinner, hair unkempt, his tie knotted too loosely. For a second, I almost don't recognize the man who once practiced charm like second nature. "You destroyed me," he says, voice cracking, cane of bitterness holding him upright. I shift my bag higher on my shoulder, envelope of finalized filings tucked inside. The stainless tape measure presses steady against my palm. "No, Adam. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped carrying the wreckage." His eyes burn, searching for softness, for the woman who used to cushion his falls. "You can't just erase me." We built a life I meet his stare. A life built on lies isn't a foundation. It's scaffolding, and scaffolding collapses. He steps closer, desperate. "I loved you." "You loved convenience," I reply. "And when it cracked, you reached for excuses." I reached for truth. Silence stretches between us, filled only by the gulls overhead and the rumble of a bus departing the station. For once, he has no words. His jaw tightens, his fists clench, but the performance dies in his throat. I take a step back, the envelope firm in my hand. "This ends here. Don't follow me again." He doesn't move, just stares, hollowed out. I walk away, each stride measured, the tape heavy but steady in my pocket, past the gates, past his shadow, toward streets lined with possibility. That night in my new apartment, I unroll fresh canvas across a work table. The tape clicks open, metal tongue stretching across white fabric, marking a line clean and true. For the first time in months, I'm building, not undoing. I whisper to the room, "This is mine." And for once, there's no echo arguing back.